What is self-love? Have you ever forgave yourself for your own mistakes? Have you ever encouraged yourself when you're feeling down? Have you ever cheered for yourself as you do with others? For a long time, I didn't. I let myself be consumed by other people's beliefs on how I should be living my life. Gave away my power by letting them define my worth. But the truth is, when you live for others, you stop living for yourself. Real freedom and real self-love begins the moment you choose you. So how does one choose themselves? What does that even mean? It's not saying I love you in affirmations in front of a mirror repeatedly every single day. I mean, yeah, it's helpful, but it's the daily choices we make, the boundaries that we set, and the way we treat ourselves when no one is watching. Let's break it down. Here are some ways I have learned how to choose myself and practice self-love and know my self-worth. Setting boundaries without guilt. If someone gets upset because you are setting boundaries, they do not respect you. Once you start choosing yourself and once you start being selfish, people will disappear from your life. Yes, it's going to be hard. Yes, it's going to be uncomfortable. But there will be some people who will shift alongside you because there was some sort of existing toxicity already there, or there's an imbalance of roles. So people will either live or shift with you. People will adapt to your level, and those are the people that matter in your life. People who disagree with you are used to draining you, so always protect your energy. Being always available for someone is called self-abandonment. So saying no to that someone is a yes to yourself, and that's number one. This is our number one thing that we have to learn. We have to learn to say no. Yes, it could be hard, but we just have to fill our own cup before we go ahead and share with others. So do not feel bad. There should be no guilt. The most important thing in this segment is do not take it personally. You are never responsible for the action of others, because if someone insults, criticizes you, or praises you, it comes from their own beliefs, fears, and experiences. It's not the reflection of your inner self. So if they lash out, it's their inner feelings and their traumas. They are admiring you through their lens and not reality. People will perceive you the way you perceive yourself. So as long as you know who you are, your kindness and your heart, their opinions don't matter, and they never did. Your self-worth should come from within and not from what others think, because again, you're not living their lives, you're living yours. To do this is practicing non-attachment. You free yourself from unnecessary suffering, drama, and conflict. Once you master this, you have clarity. So much clarity that you become immune to others people's judgments and criticisms, opinions, all of it. You have to live from self-love and inner truth and not seeking validation or fearing rejection. Forgiving yourself how you forgive others. Prioritize your needs first. Again, prioritize your needs first, because the same compassion that you freely give to others, you have to start giving it to yourself. You're not living for others. You are living for yourself. This is going to be a repetitive sentence that's going to be said throughout this video, because nobody said this journey was going to be easy. It's easier to shame ourselves. It's easier to put ourselves last and to help others. It's easier to advise others than ourselves. But if you can give advice to others, you can give it to yourself. It's all about action. We can think about it. We can ponder about it. But action, put it into your daily habits. You have to recognize your time, your peace, and your mental health. Before someone asks you to do something for them, ask yourself, what have I done for myself today? And do I feel the mood to do it? If you're good, you're feeling great, you've done the things that you have to do for yourself first, then yeah, go ahead. What's the analogy? The full cup. I'm so horrible with analogies. Fill your cup first before you go ahead and pour it into others. Because how can you pour into others with an empty cup? You fill yourself first, okay? Here's one of the most difficult things that we have to ingrain in our heads, because it's human nature to want to be with people, to help with people, to conversate, to socialize, and to love, and all these beautiful human emotions, okay? And in this journey, when choosing yourself, sometimes we have to remind ourselves that we have to stop trying to save people who don't want to be saved. Because if they truly wanted to change, then they would, okay? They need to want to see the change within themselves. That's why you're on this journey. You want to change. That's why you're watching this video. Stop giving them your energy, because the change equals feeling uncomfortable. And some people don't like feeling uncomfortable. So leave them alone. Stop being a slave to others. Being able to forgive ourselves, we have to let go of control. I'm a control freak, and that is hard for myself, trust me. I want to have control over every emotion, every way that I react, every way that whatever happens to me in my life. Sometimes I do want control of how certain situations go, how certain people react, but that's not how it works. Opportunities are there for us to grow, but they also include failure. You can't keep yourself accountable all the time just because you didn't know or for not knowing. It's okay to not know. Just ask questions and explore and just breathe. You got this. Picking yourself up after mistakes. Know that growth comes from resilience and not perfection. There's this quote from The Four Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. He says that humans punish themselves endlessly for not being what they believe they should be. Nobody abuses us more than what we abuse ourselves, and it is the judge, the victim, and the belief system that makes us do this. We cannot normalize this suffering, and we have to give ourselves grace and use our mistakes as a learning moment and not a shameful one. I've made so many mistakes. I've been in the wrong so many times. Of course, one wants to be right in an argument. Of course, we want to feel perfect and be perfect. But that is not reality. That is not realistic at all. And I feel like more now than ever, I've taken accountability for mistakes I've made. We all have bad days. We have all good days. In those bad days, we can treat people poorly. We can treat ourselves poorly. We can make decisions, or we can say things that we don't really mean. But out of those experiences, we have to take accountability for those emotions and to be able to be like, okay, yes, it's valid how I felt, but it wasn't right the way I acted or the things that I have said. Taking accountability is so important, but not making us feel ashamed for having those things happen, because it's just human. It's only up from here. We just have to learn how to do better for the next time. Do not dwell, because that was already in the past. It already happened. We're always moving forward. Choosing environments that value you. We have to leave these low vibrational spaces, guys, and we have to start entering spaces where it matches our value as we level up. You do not have to lower your value for others. They have to meet you up there. And if they can't, bye. Okay? Why? Because you matter. Stop seeking permission from others. This is a huge one. Good or bad opinion, it does not truly reflect who you are, because you know who you are and what you want to do. You are all that you need to believe in yourself and to build yourself up. Yes, it's okay to ask for help. Yes, but everything that is mental and everything, the first steps that you need to do to go up in this journey when it comes to knowing your self-worth and your self-love has to be on your own. You only need yourself. And this journey, it's about yourself. You have to be with yourself and be okay with that. And, being lonely and alone, we have to be able to feel uncomfortable, to be comfortable with our own thoughts and be able to accept what is in our minds. Because I feel like that's one of the most fearing things that a human can do nowadays, is sitting with their own thoughts. But once we are able to go against this fear and to be able to acknowledge the thoughts without these thoughts draining and taking our power, the more powerful we become. Nobody is gonna do it for you. And that's just a reminder. You have to start putting small actions. Yes, it's okay to ask for help. Totally okay. But most of the action and most of the work has to come from you. If you believe you're not deserving, then you're not. You're not deserving at all. Change your mindset. You are deserving. Once you start believing that you are deserving, universe, God, whoever you believe, everything will come to you. All that you ever desired and conspired will come to you. Put your thoughts into action. Create your own reality. Did you forget that you can create your own reality? Do not stay stagnant. Whatever situation or dream that you have, it is not going to get fixed with time. Time is one way, let me remind you. Time is one way. It's going forward only, and it's not going back. So keep yourself accountable. And like I said in my last video that I did about fear, fear/perfectionism is a form of procrastination. If you're waiting to be perfect, it will never happen. So a reminder that fear is a fragment of your imagination, and you can do and create your own reality anytime, anywhere. Put your thoughts into action. Balance as an act of love. It is so important to know that nourishment is essential and it's not a punishment. Eating a balanced diet, having some sort of movement in your routine, and resting as much as possible is crucial. That is part of self-worth and self-love journey. What are small routines can you include in your routine that help you feel balanced and make you feel good about your day and about yourself? Some things that help me feel balanced is communication, for example. It's not exactly a thing or a tangible thing, but it's a good habit to have. Communication. Letting others know how you feel and then telling yourself how you feel as well. It's important to talk to yourself and ask yourself questions. Being able to build your emotional intelligence is crucial to balancing self-love and self-worth. Music. I love music. I love reggaeton. Reggaeton reminds me of my childhood, so I blast that thing whenever I'm feeling down, when I need to clean. I gain so much energy from it. I listen to classical. I listen to, English music, whatever it may be. Music helps me a lot to regulate my emotions and to be able to build my energy levels. So whatever music you're into, play some music in the morning, set a vibe, set it in ambiance for your day. Going on solo dates, going to the movies by yourself, going to eat to dinner alone. I haven't sat in a restaurant by myself, but I have gone to the movies alone, and I've never felt so much freedom in my life. The main worry I had about going to the movies by myself was that I feared what people thought of me. I feared how people would look at me. And like I said, that don't matter. Others people's opinions do not matter. But once I got over the fact or that embarrassment or that shame or that feeling of feeling uncomfortable of being alone to the movies, the sense of freedom came to me. And it was so much fun. I enjoy doing that here now and then. And it brings me so much joy. And like I said, there's nobody for me to worry about. It's just me and myself getting popcorn, just leaving automatically. Nobody's looking at you. Nobody's thinking about you. Remove yourself from that mentality. I do go out to eat alone, but not necessarily in a restaurant. So maybe I should try that out one day. I feel like it would be a vibe. Reading. I love reading. I love reading self-help books. I love reading fiction. I love reading nonfiction. I feel like they all have some valuable lesson or some valuable experience that we can learn from. And also, it's a good escape and is a good balance. Like fantasy. Right now, that is my balance. That is my brain rot. And I'm also rereading For Agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. So I'm reading on this particular subject of domestication and how to undo that and how can I unleash myself and be more free, mentally free. So there's all types of genres, and this goes in hand with my first bullet point where I mentioned it's important to develop our emotional intelligence by talking to other people. Reading is another great way to do that. I will link some books down in the description. But yeah, to be able to constantly educate ourselves and to constantly be somehow up to date with any type of knowledge is crucial in balance, and it's an act of love to ourselves. I also, besides books, I'm on Substack, so I read other people's writings, and I think if you're not really into reading books and like books intimidate you, maybe reading an article on something. Substack, sometimes they're short, sometimes they're long. I recommend those, but reading. Keep your brain constantly working. Spending time with yourself. I'm talking about real alone time. I'm talking facing your thoughts, because the more you learn about yourself, the more authentic you become. It's hard and it's not going to be easy, but I think the best way to do this is meditation. I used to do this form of meditation where when I was feeling something, or just in general, if something was bothering me, I would imagine all these negative words or these bad thoughts as a cloud in my mind, and I would just remove myself from these thoughts and kind of look them, be aware of them, and know that, yeah, they exist and those are real feelings, but don't let it affect you. Remove yourself. You're viewing these with no emotion. It's very neutral ground. And this kind of helps me to be able to face my thoughts and be able to be alone with my thoughts, instead of always constantly trying to keep myself busy and scrolling. I've mentioned this in my other video, but including people into your life that add value is so important. To be able to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and are always searching ways to improve themselves. You want somebody that grows with you, because the most important saying is you are who you surround yourself with, and I 100% have seen that being reflected in my life. Once I got to high school and I met my now friends, who are the most amazing, beautiful people, my life elevated so much, because they're constantly so focused, laser focused and disciplined on their goals and their wants and needs, and so confident in who they are and who they want to be, that it kind of it helped, like that energy is transferred onto me, like, oh, I want to be exactly that way. I want to be confident. I want to have things that I love and do things that I'm passionate about. Their energy and their mindset is so contagious. That's why it's so important to add people into your life that are like that. Because if you have people who have a negative mindset about themselves and about their lives, and not saying that it's their fault at all, and it's good to be a friend for them, but it gets to the point where if they're draining you and they're bringing you down with them, it's not necessarily that great. And especially if they're hurting you emotionally, physically, wherever that may be, it's best to let them go. Those were some of my reflections that I've had when I thought about self-love and self-worth and what it is. I'm on this journey currently. I'm still trying to figure out who I am, who I want to be. And it could be a lonely journey, but I'm okay with it. That's pretty much what I have to say about self-love and self-worth. I'm pretty sure I have much more to say, but I'm currently on this journey, and I'm trying to apply all this knowledge that I've been told and what I've been reading, that I've watched, that I've read, and I kind of compiled it all into one so I can recite it to you guys back, because in this moment of time, I feel like everybody in my life is rethinking about what is self-love, or rethinking about who they are, who they want to be, and what people serves them good and what people don't, or what things in general serve them or not. Imposter syndrome is real, and it's something that it's kind of going around in my friend group, not in a negative way, but it's a natural thing to feel when so much change is happening at once. And all of these things that I've said in this video are things that I try my best to imply in my everyday life, and there's some days where I don't apply this at all to myself, and that's completely okay, because it's human, as long as I restart again. The most important thing is that you have to restart, pick yourself up, and do it again. And if you mess up again, if you're having trouble applying any of this knowledge, do it again. Do it again, do it again, do it again. Because you have more strength than you think to move on and change. Cherish the process and not the end result of this journey. I feel like sometimes I even do this myself. I fixate on this end result, this perfect version of myself throws me off track on this journey, and I get very upset and I get very emotional because I'm already fixating on this perfect version of myself and not really enjoying the process, because it takes baby steps in order to get there. And so taking it day by day and just slowing down is so crucial in this journey. Remember that we create our own suffering, and if we believe our thoughts, we will suffer, especially those negative thoughts. Remember, time is only one way. You're robbing yourself from your true potential if you're always focusing on the past. You have to be selfish enough to be able to chase your dream, drop that friendship, that relationship. It is not arrogance. It is called self-respect. People will try to define you. Do not let them. Be misunderstood. You will have so much freedom when you do not take it personally. It's not you. It's them. If you're not selfish enough, you're going to end up living a life that is not yours.